arcade, I was popping in quarters like I was fucking. It was going out of style.
Like
I was trying to buy a pack of cigarettes at that motherfucker.
Was it Mortal Kombat? Wasn't Mortal Kombat 2? Wasn't that the one where they introduced like Kung Lao, which was the guy that trained Liu Kang?
Well, the new characters on this one, because the original ones were like Johnny Cage, Sonya, Kano, Raiden, Liu Kang, things like that. Right. Scorpion, Sub-Zero. Those were the main guys in the first one. The ninjas, and then you had the movie star and shit like that, right?
There. Let's get the fuck out of here.
Get out of here. We don't serve your kind here.
We don't take kindly to people who don't take kindly around here.
Well, they brought in Baraka, which he was the champion of this one. Jax, Katana, Kung Lao, Melina, things like that. Shang Tsung was on this one as a fightable or a playable character instead of being in the
other girl? Katana.
Yeah, Katana and Melina. Yeah, they were
I will
sisters.
fuck somebody up with some katana.
Fuck yeah, you catch
Dropping
her in that little wave.
Like,
that was the sound.
No, it was Melina that dropped out of the sky.
Yeah,
right?
she did like a fucking super like flying ninja move across the shit.
Well, she'd like
disappear
disappear and then come out from the.
No. That was Scorpion. Scorpion always he disappeared and came behind you, and then be like bitch slap you, and then throw a hook in your neck.
No, one of the girls had a drop kick that she could do, and she'd like appear up above and then drop on you and kick.
Yeah, it would almost start down, and then it's almost like she
I want to say that was
portal.
Melina. Because that was the one where when you did her fatality, she ripped off or took off her thing, and she had like a
massive teeth,
and she like suck you up and shit like that. I don't even remember them anymore.
Right.
I just remember I played the fuck out of it.
I heard she got made fun of in high school for that.
Well, and on the Super NES, they actually allow blood on this one,
right?
Because in the first one they didn't have blood; it was sweat.
Yeah,
like you were knocking off. Fuck that. That's stupid. So a couple of really cool facts about this movie is they released it to the consoles on September 9th, 1994. They called it Mortal Friday. 2.5 million copies were sold within the first week. You know what this did? Now, as far as like a video game goes, it pretty much passed all of the Hollywood blockbusters of that year as far as sales go.
Really?
Forrest Gump came out that year, right?
Yeah.
True Lies, The Mask, The Lion King, right? It surpassed them all as far as like overall sales.
Wow.
For a fucking video game to do that shit is fucking crazy. That's fucking badass. This game, not to get all sentimental or anything like that.
Are we gonna cry?
No, not at all. But this is like a really kind of a weird random fact about my life. Whenever I first got it, like I bought a used copy at Hastings, brought it home, and I was so fucking happy about it. It was fucking cool as shit. But then I heard something in the living room when I was playing it in my room, and I go out there, and my dad's like freaking out, and my mom is like, my dad's like, you need to go into your room. I'm like, all right, cool. And my mom just screams out, we're getting a divorce. I was like, son of a bitch, right?
This is the same day you got Mortal Kombat?
Mortal Kombat 2 used.
Yeah, well, that's what I meant.
Yeah, Mortal Kombat 2 used. And I mean, that was the day that kind of changed a lot of things. And I can remember playing that game. And when I got done, talking with my mom and all kinds of stuff, it was a really heavy day. I just imagine that. And I had Mortal Kombat. That was the thing. That was the thing that I had. Right. That was it.
That's what got you through.
That's why he's killed 3 people.
And I played the shit out of that game.
Right.
But that was the day that my mom said she was going to leave. Of my dad. It was kind of crazy, and that's why I'm not trying to be all kind of weird about it. But it was just that's a red letter fucking day in my life.
Sure.
But Mortal Kombat was in it, which is fucking weird.
Wasn't
yeah.
You know what I mean? It's fucking weird.
Yeah,
you know?
that is. I mean, I think that we tie things like that to our mind, though.
Yeah.
You know, like this is what was going on at that time. This is what makes
also,
me remember.
Yeah, and
like I always remembered things that happened in my life based off what music was playing at the time.
Right.
Oh yeah, I've heard people doing that too.
Yeah, I mean, at that point, I was really into video games, and for the first time I had it, and I was really playing it by myself. I don't know, it was just a weird, surreal night. I remember it perfectly that night too. I was kicking the fuck out of the computer with fucking Liu Kang, so
there you go.
You know, it was pretty awesome.
Doing bicycle kicks and shit.
Yeah, hell yeah. Well, I mean, that's not my favorite game. Those kind of go down in sequence for it.
Well, before we leave that game, wasn't it Mortal Kombat 2 that had the secret character, the Shadow Ninja guy, Noob Saibot, which is actually Tobias and Boone?
Yeah.
Oh.
The creators of the game.
That's actually cool.
There was a lot of weird things that they said you could do with it, but it never came true. But that was one of the weird ones. games. You know,
that was real though.
That was that was
with Noob Sabat.
You could actually get in there and work with that. But in Mortal Kombat 3, they brought most of those weird characters back and kind of put them in as playable characters.
If you played Mortal Kombat 3 backwards, it would actually be a message from the devil. It's weird, I know.
Yeah, I know. It's hard to play that game backwards in the PlayStation.
Trying to take back a punch?
Mortal Kombat 3 was a launch title for PlayStation, which was weird. Yeah, I remember I played the fuck out of that game too. But Mortal Kombat 2 was still that one game that I remember one of the most. It wasn't my first fighting game or first foray into fighting games, but it was one of the ones that really caught me really big time. You know,
same here.
Very much big time.
Now to kind of put my whole thing into perspective again, I mean, I really liked Kung Fu. That was one of the first ones when I was an adolescent to really get into. Zelda, fucking cool. Still play that to this day. You know, I could play Mortal Kombat, but I'm rusty. I'm not going to beat anybody up. And then, you know, the game that is the game to me, 100%, that I will play until I'm fucking 95 in the rest home. I will be taking on motherfuckers on this game. Street Fighter Alpha 3. Now, I sucked at Street Fighter 2. Everybody would kick the fuck out of me at that game. Literally beat the shit out of me all the time. Street Fighter 2, the New Warriors, the one that had like DJ and everybody in it. Street Fighter, because there was Champion Edition, there was that. When Alpha 3 came out, Alpha 3 was on PlayStation.
Was this before or after the Jean-Claude Van Damme movie?
After.
Okay, I would have never played this game.
Yeah.
Go ahead.
Yeah, because everybody kind of died after that one. Well, see, the Street Fighter Alpha 3 was the best version of Street Fighter 2 I think that you could get. It was a prequel to basically the Street Fighter 2 original game.
Okay.
So they had all these playable characters. Zangief is the shit. He's the fucking baddest dude in the whole fucking game.
I always thought that, like, I was never that good with him, but my friends who were really good with Zangief would fuck you up.
Everybody. That was my goal, is to learn how to beat the shit out of everybody with Zangief. You couldn't touch me with him for a while. I remember when the first time we got it, I was playing it at my buddy's house when I was learning to play music, and we would play that in between playing music. We'd be getting high, be getting drunk. Tekken 2, you know, it was mainly Street Fighter Alpha 3 and just getting fucking wrecked and playing that game to where I could barely see, like my eyes are barely open, but I'm still like fighting people and shit, you know? Yeah. I just can't do it. You know,
I do know.
Yeah, it was fun.
Not for that game, but I know.
This game I poured everything into too, because when I lived in Dallas, we didn't really... We had the band going, but we weren't doing shit in it. So there was a lot of things that everybody was going through at that time. But that was the one thing that in my house that we were renting, that the three of us, me and my roommates, we would sit down, and we had 2 fucking TVs hooked up. So they could be playing on this little bitty 13-inch TV, and I could be playing on a 13-inch TV, and somebody sitting in the middle. And we wouldn't be watching anybody's controllers or anything like that. And it was fucking murder. Stereo blasting the whole fucking time and just fucking jammed us to Queens of the Stone Age and playing fucking Street Fighter Alpha 3. That game literally, like, that took over my life because it was a rock to me. Still to this day, I could plug it in, and I always talk a lot of shit about it. Like, I could beat the fuck out of anybody with it. But it's been a long time. There's not a lot of extra facts with it that most people don't know about Street Fighter. This one had, you know, super moves, different things like that, but some of the moves were fucking fluid and badass. You know, for a 2D fighting game, the best one that you could ever do. I'm not really going to talk too much about it except for saying that it was the fucking greatest game in the history of my gaming. I love it. I still fucking love it. Like, I know I have a copy of it on PlayStation. They were very hard to find at one point, and God, we played it everywhere. Everywhere we played that game. More than I played Street Fighter 2. More than I played anything else. But Street Fighter Alpha 3 was the fucking game to me. Still is to this day. I'll plug it in. I'll play that over anything else. Zelda's just kind of on everything that I have now. Because you could buy it for like $5. So I have it on every fucking console any Nintendo console that I got. I even had the Game Boy version of it. The Game Boy Advance version.
Nice.
For the, what was it? GameCube.
Oh yeah, I love GameCube.
Yeah,
still got one of those.
Yeah, because we had 3 of them, and I had the little bitty adapter for the Game Boy stuff, and we had that game, so I'd play the fuck out of it then.
Oh yeah.
But Alpha 3 is the end all game for me. And my games are simple. You know what I mean? I like the simplicity of it, the no brainness on it. The only one that really kind of puts you into anything is fucking Zelda.
Right.
You know, but Street Fighter was, I'm gonna say it again, was the shit.
Yeah.
I'm gonna use a phrase from the 90s, the shit.
Wait.
It's gonna.
You could jump up a decade. Was it the bomb?
Oh, I never really. I think I used the bomb a couple of times, but I felt like a douchebag saying it.
That's why I chose not to say it.
Yeah, seriously.
Dude, that's the bomb. Well, those are my video games, so there's a lot of shit going on under those. Mitch? This is easy.
I'm Ray Romano.
That was pretty good.
And to be honest, like talking about video games is something that has been a huge part of my life. Just living out in the country in the middle of nowhere, when the closest friend is a half-hour drive going 65 miles an hour, it's like one of those things where you got some time to be by yourself and all that. And coming from a weird background that I do, electronics and different things are not highly encouraged.
Let me ask you a question though. Whenever you're playing the video games with your electricity at where you grew up, was somebody pedaling a bike
it
was hooked up to the electricity?
Thousands of mice lined up against the walls.
So literally, like if they pedal too fast, it would like overload the system. And
I just picture a barn full of wheels and mice.
It's loud. It's hard to sleep sometimes if mom wants to get on the interwebs. It's weird.
Pedal faster. It's slow.
I'm telling you, man. I tried to pedal. Didn't work. No, like there's several video games that you can always capitalize on. Halo, different ones like that. Like Super Mario 64 even was a big revolutionary change for me because it was the first 3D realm coming from 2D. Because my first console was Super Nintendo. Street Fighter 2, all those games. Like I then did later go and get a Nintendo, and I had like the track and field, and that was like that awful game that I loved.
Buttons.
Did you have the pad?
Oh no, I just had the normal controller.
Because I knew somebody had the pad, and you'd get down with your hand on your hands and knees and
just do that
it instead of run.
Just cheat
the lazy way.
Oh my god! And just like I remember the sound even from like boo when you're throwing the javelin and stuff. You know exactly what I'm talking about.
Yes.
So either way, I did go back and do those and all that. But the first one was Super Nintendo, and my mom just got it at a garage sale one day, and she was like, "Yeah, I mean, this is like probably really close to when N64 is about to come out, like a year away."
Sure.
So I was behind the curve,
Well, they were still popular as fuck.
Oh, they were,
whenever
but
they came out,
it was just like at the end of its life rather than the beginning. And I'm okay with that because it was still revolutionary for me. But going through, I remember trying to save up for an N64, and I was in the war of like, oh, N64 is definitely better than PlayStation. So I saved up and I got an N64, and it was like the highlight of the year, and I was so happy. And then PlayStation 2 came out, and I was like, bye, Nintendo. It was fun.
You were good while you lasted.
Exactly. And so one of the games on PlayStation 2 that really made a big impact on me is one of the first cell shading games that I've seen. It's actually Sly Cooper and the Thievius Raccoonus. So the premise is Sly Cooper is he has a heritage of being thieves and pretty much rogues. If you want to consider it, they are rogues.
Yeah.
They have heightened
not
abilities.
from the Marvel universe.
Yeah, not from the Marvel universe. They have heightened abilities and all this kind of stuff, and they have a book that's been handed down through the lineage of their past, and that is the Thievius Raccoonus. Well, these guys come through, these bad guys, before Sly Cooper can get the book, these guys come through and pretty much take all the pages away. And so what you do is you get orphaned because they come and kill your dad too. And you're like, well, that's kind of heavy, And so, you're like, wow, this game is like really good for kids and everything.
Cute little raccoons and stuff.
Yeah.
Little mammals. Look what it does with its hands.
Oh, look, the raccoon's stealing something. It's cute. No,
He's got a mask on. Is it a real raccoon?
Exactly. So either way, they come in and they actually end up killing his dad. Because of this, they take the book. Then he's so young that he doesn't know what to do. He goes to an orphanage and meets his actual buddies, which is a turtle and a hippo. And the turtle is pretty much the genius, like, scientist. And then the hippo's the driver, thug, bullet sponge, you could say, or whatever you want to say.
The tank.
It's the tank.
Yeah. He's the bullet sponge.
But I mean, like, this is the time where platforming was king. You're talking about Sly Cooper is the same time as Ratchet and Clank or Jack and Daxter and like all these
Weren't
different.
those all the same game?
Pretty much, except for Sly Cooper did it better.
There you go.
Personally, no, honestly, like I think so, but I do say Ratchet and Clank with the creativity of the guns that they did was really cool.
Yeah.
But it was developed by Sucker Punch, and I think everybody's pretty much heard of Sucker Punch at one. Yeah. But the weirdest part is they actually started making this game, and I don't think they saw it as an actual success. So they actually ended up selling it and all the rights to a different company, and that's to Sanzaru Games to finish it. So they actually like started it, almost got done, and then they were like, Nah. And so this other company comes in and actually finishes it, and it becomes a huge success.
I was going to say, that ended up being one of the greatest hits down the road, right?
Yeah. Huge.
Where they sold them for like $20 or something.
Oh, I mean, comic books were made off of this. Movies were made off of this. Like they
like you said at that time, there's a lot of kids that were playing those kind of adventure games like that.
Yeah.
Because they were coming back. Because after Super Mario 64.